first here, and then when Bud's ready, we'll interrupt and go over to you.
Let me know if you're gonna come to us or won't take.
Coach, was this kind of a sigh of relief there in that final minute when
What's
that
that?
3-point shot rimmed out for Bakersfield?
Good.
Yeah, it's a sigh of relief just to get the win. You know, we didn't handle the situation as well as we have in practice, and but it's partially my fault because I had a lot of very unique rotations in there, a lot of different lineups, and part of that had to do with foul trouble, part of it had to do with some other things. You know, who's playing well and trying to break the press and just a variety of things, but there were so many times I looked out there, it was just, we had very different lineups, just trying to weather the storm and get to the game.
But I noticed even before you guys were in foul trouble, your starting lineup was pretty unique too. Take me through maybe your decision or your thought process into who would start today.
The guys that started tonight were the guys that did the best job percentage-wise rebounding in their position over scrimmages that we had and the exhibition game.
Okay, we're gonna take questions from Bud on radio.
Yeah, okay, Bud, we're ready to go.
Interview with Coach Bone brought to you by AT&T, Rethink Possible. Coach Bone built a lead in the second half. We saw that melt away a little bit. And we saw this a little bit last year. And this team, we talked about it on the pregame, 10 losses by very close scores. But this time you were able to hold on and get the win this time.
Right, and you know, even as ugly as the game was, because of all the fouls and the fact that, like you said, Bud, we had a good lead, and it disappeared. But part of the credit goes to Bakersfield. They didn't give up. They hit big shots. They hit threes to close the gap. But I'm glad it happened that way personally. We needed to win a game like this. We need to win more games like this because, like you just said, last year this was the type of game that we would lose a lead, the other team would gain momentum, and we'd get beat by 1 or 2. So I'm glad the way it happened.
Yeah, you built that lead in the second half by keeping Bakersfield away from the basket. They didn't have a field goal the first 7 minutes of the second half, only a couple of free throws. Then they started to make a couple of threes. Was that just the difference? A couple shots started falling for them?
Well, I thought they played more aggressive too. They were attacking, getting to the line a lot. Our bigs were obviously in foul trouble. We had 3 bigs with 4 fouls each. Jordan Rayleigh, Josh Hawkinson, and Junior. And so at the end, we actually put DJ to 5 and finished the game that way.
Yeah, it's an interesting scenario. We talked about this with the rule changes. Expected a lot of fouls on the perimeter, but the game is trying to be cleaned up in the post as well. And we saw fouls called on defensive players that we normally don't see in the past, with contact being initiated by the offensive players. So it's going to be a learning curve, isn't it?
It sure is. It's going to be a learning curve by everybody, the officials, the players, the coaches, the fans. It's just, it's a different game. You're going to hear a lot of people talk about it.
Ken, in the first half, the Cougs shot 16 three-pointers. So is that going to be a normal thing, or was there a little impatience offensively? Would you like to see the ball inside a little bit more?
No, I thought it was great. In fact, I wish we would have shot more, but because I thought we had really good looks, that's why. I don't think we were forcing the shot. We talked about it at halftime as a staff, and then let the players know that, hey, keep shooting those shots, because we have some good shooters. The shots did not drop that first half. They didn't drop very well the second half, but we think we have a group of guys that can really shoot it. That's what that defense gives up, is the 3. They don't give up a lot of points in the paint, so we didn't try to force the issue getting the ball inside. We were satisfied with getting 3s. Unfortunately, we did not shoot well.
You predicated your starting lineup today based on rebounding, some numbers that you and the coaching staff have been keeping track of. You end up winning the rebound battle 40-35 tonight. Are you happy with what you know rebounding without looking at the video of the game?
No, I'm not. I thought I saw some good effort out there at times by certain guys. You know, like Josh Hawkinson plays 7 minutes and comes up with 3 offensive boards, and that was good. DJ grabbed some boards. But all in all, we did not do a good job rebounding.
And I would imagine you want to see a little better ball movement, just 7 assists on 15 field goals.
Yeah, we'd like to see more assists there. We did a good job of that last week, but we were not as crisp tonight, that's for sure.
But you walk away with a victory, and now 8 days to fine tune some things before you tee it up again against Lamar.
Right, we're looking forward to that. Got a win under our belt, and that beats the alternatives, so back to the drawing board, we'll continue to get better, and, you know, certain guys like Jordan Rady, Q Johnson, they haven't played a whole lot the last few years. And Ike Aragabu, his first game as a freshman, Josh Hawkinson, there's a lot of guys in the rotation that haven't played a lot. Even Brett Bass, I mean, he hardly played at all last year, and here he is starting tonight, so there's a number of kids that were able to get a game under their belt, and I think that's gonna help down the road.
All right, Ken, congratulations on the win.
Thanks.
Ken Bone, head coach of
More questions for Coach Ken?
Coach, they missed 17 free throws, but Devontae hit his. Can you talk about the job he did at the line tonight? It seemed like he kind of made the difference.
Yeah, Devontae did a good job being aggressive to attack and create fouls. He's pretty good at creating fouls. And then he shot well, 14 for 17 from the line. That had a lot to do with the win. And then they shot very poorly, 11 for 28. I mean, that's just, that's a bad night for them, because they haven't been that bad of a free throw shooting team in the past.
Given the way the first half played out, would you have done anything differently with the starting lineup? Were you still happy with the decision to go all rebounding?
Yeah, I've done that numerous times over the years. And, if I was a football coach, when you have 11, 12 games, those decisions are a little harder. But I'm looking at the big picture. We want to be as good as we can, come spring training for baseball. That's a few months from now. And so we need to rebound the ball. It was evident tonight. So we're going to keep putting the onus on the guys, and we're going to get there.
I counted 11 different players that took the court in the first half. Do you anticipate subbing that liberally throughout the non-conference schedule, or is the bench going to shorten up a bit?
It'll shorten up. Yeah, that was quite a few guys. Although there's a chance that all of those guys would have played even if we would have started a different lineup. There's not a huge difference, I don't think, between certain guys and whoever the top 2, 3, 4 players are on the team, and that bottom 9, 10, 11 guys. I don't foresee us having a Klay Thompson out there right now, or a Brock Modem, a guy that can score like Brock. I see a lot of parity, and so we're going to keep allowing them to battle each other every day in practice and compete for playing time, and that competitive mentality, I think, shows up in games like tonight.
Do you expect Devontae to shoulder that much of the scoring burden each game, or is this an outlier?
No. What did he score? 28? No, he's not going to average 28.
For him to score that much, are you happy with that, or would you prefer it to be spread around a little more?
Oh, I'm happy for him, because it's fun to score 28. But to be a good team, for us to be a good team, it needs to be spread out a little bit more. Dexter's not going to go 0 for 5 very often. He's been one of our best scorers in practice for 35 practices. Royce Woolridge has been banged up a little bit with a knee, hasn't practiced a lot the last week. He's usually going to be a little more efficient scoring-wise, and I don't think Devontae will have to carry that load very often.
You mentioned that you were actually kind of pleased that your team kind of gutted out a win like this, but did you sense that your players had the same mood after the game? Were they more upset at how things transpired in the second half, or what was their mood like?
I'm not sure how their mood was, because, I was the one doing the talking. But I told them what I told you, that we need to be able to win close games, and it's hard to hold a lead. Just like last year, there were many games that we lost by 2 or 3 where we were down 10 or 15. But we fought back and battled back and got in the game. So it's the same thing on the flip side. It's can you win those games? And now don't get me wrong, we were up about 54 to 40, and I wish that we would have won the game by 15 or 20.
Right.
But because of what happened, it's a feather in our cap. I think it's a feather in our guys' cap that we were able to win a game like that. And I think that those type of wins will help us more than if we would have won by 20.
Coach, you got 17 offensive rebounds tonight. You got a comment on how you guys did rebounding tonight?
Yeah, if you miss a lot of shots, you got a better chance to get offensive rebounds, and that's what we did.
Coach looked like they had a lot more fast break opportunities off turnovers. How would you assess the defense in this game in terms of ball denial and on-ball pressure?
I thought it was pretty good. I thought our defense really bothered them the second half, you know, until the very end when they made some threes and scored, I don't know, maybe 16 points in about the last 6-7 minutes. But up to that point, I believe they'd only scored about 15, if my math is right, in the other 12 or 13 minutes. Because at one point it was about 54-40. And at half they had 25. So I thought we did a very good job defensively during that span.
Coach, you played 3 freshmen, and Ike, Josh, and Q. How do you think they played in their first game, regular season? Especially with Ike, who played most time from the freshman.
Yeah, not bad. Not bad. They've played better. We've seen them play better. And I think Q's the one that's the rustiest of the 3, but I understand why. You know, it's the first real game he's played in. He played the exhibition game last week. It is the first real game he's played in 12 months. So, I'm sorry, in 22 months. December of his senior year of high school. So it's going to take a while. Jordan Raley redshirted last year. Brett Bass hardly played at all. Like you said, Ike and Josh are new. So it's going to take some time.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.